The Trump administration announced on Monday that it would freeze $2.02 billion in multi-year grants and $60 million in multi-year contract value at Harvard University. This decision came after the university stated it would not comply with policy demands from the administration. Earlier on Monday, Harvard University declared its refusal to adhere to the Trump administration's policy demands. In response to the funding freeze, the university referred to its previous statement, emphasizing that stepping back from these partnerships could jeopardize the health and well-being of millions, as well as the economic security and vitality of the nation. A federal task force sent a letter to Harvard last week, outlining additional policy demands necessary to maintain Harvard's financial relationship with the federal government. Harvard President Alan M. Garber stated that the university had informed the administration through legal counsel that it would not accept their proposed agreement. He asserted that Harvard would not compromise its independence or constitutional rights. The Trump administration has threatened various colleges across the United States with funding cuts if policy changes were not implemented. Harvard's stance marks the first instance of an elite university openly defying the White House over such demands. The administration's letter included mandates such as eliminating Harvard's diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, banning masks at campus protests, implementing merit-based hiring and admissions reforms, and reducing the influence of faculty and administrators more focused on activism than scholarship. These proposed changes are part of a broader effort by the federal task force to combat anti-Semitism on college campuses, following several high-profile incidents nationwide in response to the Israel-Hamas conflict in Gaza. A White House spokesperson stated that President Donald Trump aims to improve higher education by ending unchecked anti-Semitism and ensuring federal taxpayer dollars do not support Harvard's alleged racial discrimination or racially motivated violence. The spokesperson emphasized that any institution violating Title VI is, by law, ineligible for federal funding. Garber highlighted that most demands represent direct governmental regulation of Harvard's intellectual conditions. He argued that no government should dictate what private universities can teach, whom they can admit and hire, or which areas of study and inquiry they can pursue. Harvard's endowment was reported at $53.02 billion in 2024. The Harvard faculty chapter of the American Association of University Professors, along with the national organization, filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration on Friday. They also requested an immediate temporary restraining order to prevent the government from cutting off Harvard's federal funding. The lawsuit claims that the cancellation of federal funding is imminent, referencing how the Trump administration already reduced funding for other institutions like Columbia University, which faced $400 million in federal funding cuts. Harvard Law School professor Nicholas Bowie described the president's demands as authoritarian, violating universities' First Amendment rights by requiring them to suppress speech and alter their educational content to retain funding. The administration's letter also called for full cooperation with the Department of Homeland Security and federal regulators to ensure compliance. This letter arrived shortly after several federal departments announced a review of $8.07 billion in grants and more than $255 million in contracts between Harvard, its affiliates, and the federal government.